Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest has Jack having a blood debt to pay to Davy Jones, but he tries to find a way to get out of it. This is the third time I've seen this movie. So, the positives on the film are it has a lot of good ideas. The Kraken is cool. The mark on Jack's hand is interesting. The Cannibal Island is a cool setting in the film, as well as having some fun action in that scene. And on Cannibal Island, the action there, I like that. That's pretty good. Like where they're in the bone cage and they have to climb up the wall. That was cool. The Kraken attack in the middle of the film, near the end of the film, that was pretty cool. And the three-way sword fight near the end of the film is awesome. It's an epic battle between Jack, Will, and Norrington. They go fight in a jungle. They go into like a building, and then they're on the roof of the building. They get onto a water wheel, and then that gets broken, so it starts spinning across the island, and they continue to fight on it. They're fighting for the key for the titular dead man's chest. They fight in the wheel, and the camera actually spins with the wheel, so that's cool. And then near the end of that scene, they're fighting in the water. I really like that, so that whole sword fight is just awesome. That's it for positives. On to the mixed. The mixed aspect is Davy Jones is a very cool villain. I like his design with the octopus tentacles, and he's intimidating in the scenes that he's in. However, you don't get to see him until like an hour into the movie, so you can't like enjoy a lot of him. And he's not even really in the final sword battle. He's not in the three-way sword battle. He's not like in the end of the film. He's not in the Kraken showdown at the end of the film. So kind of disappointing that he's not in the movie a bit more, especially in the third act. So he's captivating, he's cool to look at, but it's not satisfying because he's not in the movie that much. He's like in the middle chunk of the movie without being in the beginning of the film or the end of the film. So, again, captivating to look at, but not satisfying enough to see him in the film. And now on to the negatives. The first 40 minutes of this movie is actually really slow and dialogue heavy. The first half is slow. Then the second half is very fun. That has funny action. And then the movie ends. So, I mean, you really don't even get that much fun stuff in the movie. We hear the same dialogue about 3 or 4 times about, Elizabeth is in trouble. That's explained by, 3 different characters at 3 different moments in the movie. We hear Elizabeth is in trouble when Will is captured on Cannibal Island. So we probably could have cut out 20 minutes of the film if we actually started when Will gets to the island and then finds Jack in the whole cannibal getup, and then he says, Elizabeth is in trouble. That would have been interesting. And then when Elizabeth talks with Beckett, she says what Will is doing, and we actually hear that multiple times of Will went off to go find Jack. And then even after escaping Cannibal Island, there's still a lot of dialogue, and Cannibal Island is 40, 50 minutes into the movie, and then you have a good 20 minutes that's pretty fun, but then it kind of goes back to dialogue and just not a lot of action. I think there might be too much going on in the film, so everything just kind of gets a little bit of screen time. Cannibal Island gets 20 minutes. Keep in mind, this movie is 2.5 hours. Cannibal Island, 20 minutes. Davy Jones gets a few scenes, so he probably gets like 10, maybe 15 minutes worth of screen time. The Kraken gets maybe 15 minutes worth of screen time with one really good scene near the end of the film. But it's still kind of a little too short. And we don't actually get to see the Kraken until like an hour and a half into the film. We see him sink a few ships here and there, but we don't see him until like an hour and a half in the film. This movie is honestly kind of boring for most of the movie. And so all three of these last negatives, because now I'm going to get into my last negative, all three just kind of feel like the same thing. They feel like they're the same type of problem. Because my last negative is this feels like a part one of a two-part story with At World's End. All the setup and slow moments are in Dead Man's Chest, and all the payoff is in At World's End. So, again, like, it ties into why it feels pretty boring. Because since this is kind of like a part one type thing, all the dialogue is in this movie, and there's not a lot of fun action. And, of course, I mean, like, Davy Jones isn't even defeated until At World's End. He has a setback with not having the heart in the chest, but, like, he's not clearly definitively defeated or killed like Barbossa in the first one. So it just kind of feels unsatisfying by the end of this film. So in the end, this movie's okay, but I don't love it. I would have liked like more Cannibal Island, more Davy Jones, and him fighting in the final battle, and then just less introduction, less dialogue, especially when they say it like 3 or 4 times in the movie. It's the same thing. So this movie, it's fun to watch, but it's not great. So that's my review on Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. Thanks for watching.